Welcome to 217 Colic YT. The chapter begins. In the dimly lit command center, filled with anxious energy and flickering monitors, a voice rang out, "Nagoya has been successfully recovered." The statement caused a wave of disbelief to ripple through the room. Another voice quickly followed. "A giant's corpse has been discovered in Nakatsugawa. Shizuoka has also been recovered, along with Takayama and Nagano." The men at the control center stared at the screens, baffled. "How is this possible?" one of them muttered, eyes wide in disbelief. Among them, a senior officer clenched his jaw, memories rushing in, those haunting, purple eyes from the airport. He remembered vividly. Go to his right, he whispered to himself, recalling the calm but terrifying aura of a man who had walked past countless onlookers without saying a word. Sung Jinwoo. "I've come across countless hunters in my time, but none have been anywhere near as powerful." Outside the arrival terminal, tension filled the plaza. A Japanese officer approached Jinwoo, trying to keep formalities short. "It's a pleasure to meet you. We're in an emergency situation, so I'll get right to the point. The giants are headed this way as we speak. Please focus your defenses around Osaka." But as he laid out the plan, a calculating look crossed his face. No matter how strong he is, he won't be able to defeat all the giants, he thought. So while he fends them off, we must negotiate with other nations. He was already thinking beyond Jinwoo, beyond Japan. But Jinwoo cut him off. "I can't agree to that." His rejection silenced everyone in the plaza. The officer's voice cracked. "Then what do you plan on doing?" Eyes now wide in horror, the man thought, "No way, he's actually planning on defeating all the giants by himself." But then came the twist, Jinwoo's calm, unwavering inner voice. "That was my original plan." A faint smirk tugged at his lips as his violet eyes gleamed. With a surge of power, his hand summoned shadows. Let's see, from the darkness erupted towering figures, new, fearsome shadow soldiers with molten, glowing eyes and flame-like auras. Their leader dropped to a knee. Jinwoo exhaled, unimpressed. "I'll just name you guys number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Baru kneeled before him, speaking with reverence. "My king, I have killed yet another foe." Jinwoo casually nodded. "Then he will be number 6. With his army at the ready, Jinwoo turned to Jinho. "I'll teleport to the other using Shadow Exchange and turn them into one of my soldiers. Be ready without me." "Yes, sir," they replied. As he stepped into the crumbled streets, Jinwoo reflected, so far, so easy. But things are just getting started. Across Japan, the giants were falling, one after another. Shadow soldiers assisted the hunters, their never-ending supply of mana making attrition warfare a winning strategy. The giants, despite their size and strength, could not outlast the regenerative power of the shadows. But the S-rank dungeon break hadn't just caused a single disaster, it had triggered dungeon breaks everywhere. Cities across Japan suffered, overrun by beasts both mighty and small. On the 7th night of chaos, Tokyo was left a smoldering grave of steel and ash. "Everything is in ruins, sir," a voice muttered. Jinwoo glanced around. "Tell me about it." From the rubble, a familiar face approached. "Hello, Mr. Sung," said Ms. Hankawa. He nodded. "There aren't any other hunters here, right?" "Correct. Only me." "Tokyo is empty." She began briefing him. The giants had spawned in Tokyo and fanned out, devastating everything in their path. A total of 16 S-rank hunters were deployed. 6 from Japan, 2 from China, 3 from Canada, 2 from India, and 1 each from Russia and the UK. But the cost had been high. There were 3 S-rank casualties. Yuri Orlov from Russia, Hanzo Koki from the Phantom Guild, and Lucas Hoyle from Canada. Jinwoo's eyes narrowed. If 3 S-ranks had died, the toll on lower-ranked hunters must have been catastrophic. A total of 31 giants appeared. One of them is now crossing the ocean toward China. "We don't have enough manpower to defend all of Japan," Hankawa admitted. "But thanks to you, most of the giants have been wiped out. The hunters and your shadows are taking care of the rest." Jinwoo nodded. "Then, I guess that just leaves that guy." His gaze drifted upward to a giant of terrifying stature in the distance. As he surveyed the ruined city, a strange familiarity tugged at his mind. This place, it looks like the demon's castle. The same burning skyline. The same ominous quiet. If that ruined city was a hint given by the system, then what was the architect trying to tell me? He recalled the architect's warning. The creature was already long dead, but perhaps his message hadn't been metaphorical after all. Even if the demon's castle foreshadowed these events, I can still stop them. That's why I've been training. I tirelessly sought strength because I didn't want to be controlled by overwhelming power. He clenched his fist. Now is the time. Turning to the others, he said, let's get started. Hankawa blinked. What? But the other hunters haven't arrived yet. No, they're all here, Jinwoo said. Suddenly, the sound of a sword driving into the ground, and a hunter slumped with exhaustion. This is so annoying. Well, on the bright side, at least we finished them off, one said. But those guys are just leaving the giants behind on their last legs and heading straight for Tokyo. They slammed a hand against the ground in frustration. We're just on cleanup duty. As they complained, Jinwoo's shadow soldiers marched forward, silent, terrifying. Then, with a roaring whoosh, a new wave of shadow creatures flooded the streets. Red mist swirled above as dark figures materialized like ghosts. A voice commanded, kneel, and all shadows obeyed. Even Hankawa stood in awe, watching the army of darkness respond to their master. Jinwoo turned and smiled faintly. Oh, you're all here. Good work, everyone. Baru stepped forward. Thank you, my king. Jinwoo then faced Jinho. Take Miss Hankawa and get far away from here. Yes, big brother. As they stepped away, Jinwoo raised his hand. Now come out. With a deep, thunderous surge of energy, the massive fallen corpse nearby erupted, rising as a new, monstrous shadow soldier. Dark wings spread across the sky. Dozens, no, hundreds of soldiers emerged at once. Standing atop the ruins, Jinwoo raised his arm. My soldiers, his voice cut through the silence. Charge. A blade of dark shadow cracks through the air like a living scream. Baru descends with a surge of power, wings stretched wide, claws gleaming with violet lightning. The sky darkens around him as his monstrous figure tears down from above, striking the battlefield like a hammer of vengeance. The ground trembles. A wave of soldiers, Jinwoo's shadows, emerge in synchronized unity, rumbling forth across the city ruins. Their forms are laced in glowing purple veins, eyes blazing in unison. A living tsunami of shadows flows through the streets, encircling buildings and rushing toward the beast that towers before them. The giant, colossal, ferocious, Jinwoo stands calmly, cape fluttering, as the battlefield is swallowed in darkness. Suddenly, an earth-shattering slash cuts across the skyline. A bolt of energy whips through the air, too fast to follow. Boom. It collides. Explosions erupt as 100 shadows vanish in an instant. Jinwoo's eyes narrow. The beast's power is monstrous. Its single swing has wiped out swarms of soldiers. But Jinwoo does not falter. He stares ahead, calculating. What terrifying strength. That beast is massive, and the pressure he gives off almost made me want to retreat. But instead of retreating, Jinwoo clenches his fists tighter. There's only one way to deal with discomfort. Eliminate the source. The clash resumes. But the giant counters. A massive fist slams, throwing his body through rubble and flame. Jinwoo's shadow knights lunge. A massive blade swings down from above. Ants, millions of them, chomp and swarm over the giant's foot, biting, stinging, tearing. The creature tries to shake them off. Kick. Its massive leg flings them skyward. Baru roars, wings shaking the atmosphere. But Jinwoo raises a hand. Not yet. He stands on a cliff edge, observing. Calm. I expected this much. I still have enough mana. I need to find its weakness. Another attack lands. Jinwoo's MP appears. MP 104,231/109,433. Strike after strike. Shadow warriors flood in. Jinwoo's mana dips and climbs with each breath. MP 96,687/109,433. He watches closely. He's not defending himself. It's like he's wearing mana as armor. But his eyes sharpen. He blocked once before. That was the clue. Kaisel. The dragon screeches through the sky. Jinwoo leaps onto its back. Let's go. He flies like a blur of violet fire, slicing through the air. His blade clashes with the beast's body again. Jinwoo's eye lights up. I knew it. He dives once more. The giant watches. Alarmed. He finds the spot. A strike lands, severing into the monster's flesh. Jinwoo lands. Come again. Smiling faintly. Just as I thought. Then Baru charges. The giant prepares its counter, but Jinwoo doesn't hesitate. His blades flare. The ruler's authority. Activated. Baru crackles with amplified energy. His outline sharpens. He rises above the giant. Soldiers below gasp. This isn't a battle between hunters and monsters anymore. This is a battle between monsters. The giant's head sparks and splits. Lightning surges as Jinwoo calls forth a new command. Mutilation. A spell. A slaughter. Slice. Jinwoo dances through the air, blades painting the sky with precision. Then Jinwoo cuts giant eyes and command the Baru. Your wish is my command. Baru launches forward, right into the giant's eye. Skill. Mutilation has been activated. Again and again. Skill. Mutilation has been activated. The giant stumbles, falls back. A thunderous explosion rips through the sky. The colossal body of the final giant begins to collapse. As the shockwave spreads, the battlefield falls silent. A system notification echoes in Jinwoo's mind. You have defeated the enemy. But there's no cheer from Jinwoo. Just a heavy pause. Level up. The surrounding buildings tremble as rubble rains down. Amid the destruction, Jinwoo stands atop a ruined structure, surveying the aftermath. Jinho, wide-eyed and stunned, mutters, "You have defeated the enemy." Jinho rushes over, shouting, "Sir, that was amazing. I can't believe you took down the boss of the giants." But Jinwoo doesn't share their relief. His eyes narrow. The system didn't say, "You have defeated the dungeon boss." There was no black smoke, no confirmation, no shadow to extract. Shadow extraction cannot be used on this target. "I knew it," he murmurs. His attention drifts to the battlefield as he sees the giant's head. Jinho looks on, awestruck. Suddenly, a shadow appears, hovering in the air, radiating with power. "My king," says the familiar voice. Baru kneels in midair, emerging from the swirling magic. "Oh, it's you," Jinwoo acknowledges, faintly smiling. But the moment is short-lived. He senses something unnatural. Despite the giant being dead, its mana lingers, enough to mask Baru's presence. And then, the ground quakes. A blinding surge of energy detonates in the distance, red lightning laced with terrifying mana. Jinwoo's eyes widen. A powerful mana storm. His first thought, what happened to Jinho? He turns, only to find Jinho shielded by Igris, unharmed. Phew, thank God. But then he feels it. The mana isn't dissipating. It's gathering, drawn into the gate itself. The gate is absorbing the giant's mana. Jinwoo floats closer, the gravity of the moment pressing on him. To think. I got a cut just from the mana alone, he realizes, touching his cheek. This has never happened before. He turns to Jinho. Wait here. I'm going to scope out the inside of the gate. Jinho nods anxiously. Please be careful, sir. With one powerful leap, Jinwoo launches into the air and flies straight into the gate, disappearing in a pulse of blue light. Inside, the atmosphere is ancient and immense. He lands in a vast chamber filled with towering columns and intricate designs. The air crackles with energy. Flames flicker on sconces, untouched by time. This place is massive, he mutters. Well, I guess that's how the giants were able to pass through. As he advances, a strange laughter echoes through the halls. Ha 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 ha. A booming voice follows, taunting the heavens. How amusing. How amusing indeed. You despicable rulers. Look who has come to see me first. Chains rattle violently. A monstrous being, shackled by dozens of black, rune-carved restraints, looms ahead. Welcome, monarch, the creature says. Jinwoo narrows his eyes. Is this guy the boss? The being growls, free me from these chains. I know what the rulers have planned. I must inform the other monarchs. But then, the being's red eyes lock onto Jinwoo. You are not the one I know. Jinwoo responds cautiously. Did those rulers, or whatever they're called, do this to you? They're trying to use me as a stepping stone to lay the groundwork for the real war that is to come. Jinwoo thinks back to the other creatures he's faced. None of them could explain their origin. But this one is different. Who are these rulers you speak of? The bound figure's voice trembles with hate. They are longtime enemies of the monarchs. Jinwoo contemplates, if they're enemies of the monarchs, does that make them my enemies too? Then the fact that they've chained you up means, yes, the giant says with conviction. I too am a monarch. The revelation strikes Jinwoo. All the monarchs and rulers are probably after you, the bound monarch warns. But right now, you don't have the strength to face them all. You will need allies. Jinwoo raises an eyebrow. Allies. Under my seal, the monarch pleads. I shall help you. Jinwoo's eyes sharpen. What? You, a beast, will help me, a human? You really expect me to believe that? The chained monarch grins wide, baring his jagged teeth. Then I shall make you believe. Dark runes blaze across the chamber as he invokes a skill. The king of the giants, monarch of the beginning, Legia, has cast the skill pledge of trust exchange. Once the pledge is accepted, neither party can lie. Jinwoo hesitates. The prompt appears. Accept the pledge of trust exchange? Yes or no? He weighs the risk, then makes his choice. Yes. The pledge of trust exchange has been initiated. Both men feel the magic take hold. Release me from my seal, and I shall help you, Legia says once more. Jinwoo starts to speak. All right. I completely trust you. Suddenly, he stops mid-sentence. His body locks up. Legia chuckles. That is the pledge of trust at work. You cannot lie. Jinwoo clenches his fist. I see. But more importantly, he steps forward. How are you able to converse freely with me, unlike other magic beasts? Magic beasts? Legia tilts his head. Ah, do you mean the denizens of chaos? He continues, they emerge from the gates as stragglers, captives of the ruler's army after suffering defeat. Their minds, shattered from an eternity of captivity. An image flashes in Jinwoo's mind, twisted, mindless creatures with glowing red eyes, corrupted beyond recognition. But I am a king, Legia proclaims. Unlike them, I have held on to my sanity. I've waited patiently for my chance to escape, and then I met you. Jinwoo recalls a figure clad in radiant silver armor, wings of light stretching from his back. The ruler's army. Do you mean the ones in silver armor? He asks. Yes, Legia affirms. Those are the ruler's soldiers. Jinwoo frowns. Then why do those damn rulers keep sending us beasts? The scene fades to black as the monarch's face curls into a knowing, grim smile. Like I said, they're preparing for war. His voice echoes with dread as he continues, they wish to turn this world into a battlefield and fight against the monarchs once more. Standing across from the chained giant, Jinwoo narrows his glowing purple eyes. His presence radiates power, unshaken even by the foreboding revelation. I don't quite follow. They're trying to turn Earth into a battlefield by sending us beasts? How does that work exactly? The chained monarch replies coldly, they're doing it for a simple reason, to imbue your world with mana. A vision flashes, dozens of monstrous beings, twisted and demonic, breaking through dimensional gates. Magic beasts, cursed to humanity, pour into the world. But through them, mana, the energy of this other world, bleeds into the earth. Once seen as a threat, this mana has become the lifeblood of the modern age. While the monsters are cursed, the mana crystals and essence stones they leave behind are hailed as blessings. Not just by hunters, but by nations. These are now the most sought-after energy sources in the world. But the rulers were using them to lay the groundwork for a war? Jinwoo mutters. The monarch's eerie voice answers. A rematch between the monarchs and the rulers. From the gloom, silhouettes emerge, terrifying shapes of war, fangs, and flame. The monarchs. Against them, the radiant brilliance of divine warriors. The rulers. There is no better way to propagate power that doesn't exist than to use the blood of those who possess it. That's why the rulers use their prisoners of war. They've cultivated a field fertilized by the blood of magic beasts. Now, they are ready to reap the fruits of their labor. Mana strengthens the world. So they plan to create a world that cannot be destroyed by the shock of war. A chilling vision grips Jinwoo, a burning city, reduced to ashes under the weight of destruction. Before long, your world will turn into a living hell. There is no time. Jinwoo listens silently. The monarch warns, once word of our meeting gets out, the monarchs and the rulers will no longer just stand by and watch. Envoys of the rulers may already be on the move. You keep speaking as if those bastards are out to get me, Jinwoo says. Why is that? You really don't know anything, do you? The monarch growls. The power you possess is not truly yours. The fact that you have it means its rightful owner betrayed the other monarchs. You are the enemy of both the monarchs and the rulers. But I alone, he continues, swear to fight alongside you. So won't you help me? Jinwoo's eyes narrow. His shadow flares to life with cold violet fire. If you wish to stand with me, he begins, then wouldn't it be better to become one of my shadow soldiers? The monarch's eyes widen in shock. For a split second, I thought I saw him. Was I hallucinating? Monarchs and rulers have astral bodies. When we die, they are destroyed, so we cannot be turned into shadows. If you help me, I shall return the favor. This is a fair and complete deal between two monarchs. Jinwoo steps forward, cool and calculating. You said you'd stand by my side, right? Yes, of course. Jinwoo considers the deal, the lightning of his power flickering around his fingers. I understand the situation now. But why do I feel so uneasy? I must have overlooked something. He glances up at the chained monarch. Does that mean you'll stand with humanity? The creature remains silent. Why aren't you saying anything? Jinwoo demands. Is it because of the pledge of trust? A glint of crimson light gleams ominously. Jinwoo draws his blade and slices through one of the chains. The monarch smirks, then falls silent. Jinwoo's gaze hardens. What was that? Just now? That essence stone on the back of your neck. Jinwoo says, as long as you have that, you'll hear the voices of the rulers. You were told to kill the humans, right? Just like the others. A wicked grin splits the monarch's face. Suddenly, he bursts free, lunging at Jinwoo with devastating force. Jinwoo doesn't flinch. Jinwoo turns with calm resolve. I'm calling off our deal. I can't let you live. You're too much of a risk. He lunges forward. Stab. Blood spurts as Jinwoo is struck, but he retaliates with a vicious slash. The monarch staggers, coughing black smoke. Jinwoo stares him down. You might cause a calamity. The monarch growls, no, you're wrong. I am not a calamity. You are. You might be the calamity. He strikes with unrelenting fury. As the monarch reels, Jinwoo watches him with cold finality. As the fight between the human race and the captured denizens of chaos escalates, the dying monarch whispers, this world will transform into a bloody battlefield. I pray that all you wish to protect is burned to ashes by the hellfires of war. Jinwoo raises his sword one final time. That's not going to happen. Slice. The monarch's body collapses. You have defeated the dungeon boss. You have defeated one of the 9 monarchs, the monarch of the beginning, Legia. Calculating EXP. You have earned a large amount of EXP. The calculation may take a while. Jinwoo stares at the body. It's too bad I won't get a shadow soldier. He picks up a shard and inspects it. But I'll take this as my prize. Level up. Level 122. Somewhere across the globe, outside, a helicopter hums in the distance. I wasn't expecting any visitors today. A man in relaxed clothing opens his door. His casual posture belies his status. National level hunter, Christopher Reed. 2 visitors greet him. The older man speaks first. It's been a while, Deputy Director. You too, Ms. Selner, Christopher replies with a nod. I have something urgent to discuss with you. Would you mind asking everyone to leave? Christopher turns to his assistant. Don't let anyone near my room until the 2 of them have left. Understood, sir. He then walks to the lounge with the pair. So, what brings you all the way out here? If it's to talk about the S-rank gate on the East Coast, then let me make myself clear. I'm not going. No, that's not why we're here. Selner interrupts. It's something more serious than that, the deputy says gravely. More serious than an S-rank gate? Christopher raises an eyebrow. Then the deputy leans forward. Chris, there's a chance you might be killed in the near future. Steam rose from the coffee cup as it gently clinked against the saucer. The mood in the room was quiet, yet the tension was thick. Christopher Reed leaned back, his eyes shadowed under his furrowed brow. Miss Selner, he said, voice low but clear, I will forever be grateful for what you did for me. But his expression hardened as he placed the cup down, gaze narrowing. However, I don't think we're on joking terms. A chill spread through the air. His eyes, now glowing with violent intensity, cut through the moment like a blade. You think someone's capable of killing me? Are you serious right now? Miss Selner kept her poise despite the sharp glare. I recently had a dream about you, she said softly. The man sitting beside her turned to her with interest. Now look here, Miss Selner. Her voice wavered slightly. In it, you were surrounded by men who... Christopher Reed slammed his hand on the table. Did you really fly all the way here because of some silly dream you had? He stood, seething. I know all about your former profession. Some people think that you came to possess a unique ability after you awakened, because you used to be a psychic. She remained silent, the storm in his voice swirling around her. He continued, who should I ask for help, then? Are you saying there's someone out there who can protect me? A national level hunter? She finally responded, calm yet firm, there's nothing that can be done. But she added with a glance, we think there might be someone who can help you. Christopher Reed paused. Sung Jinwoo. A hunter of his caliber could provide you with protection. His eyes widened in disbelief. Sung Jinwoo. Elsewhere, far removed from that discussion, Jinwoo himself stood tall in silence. The wind swirled violently around him. Shadows and fragments twisted through the sky. Jinwoo's thoughts were grim. The king had to be killed. I made the right call. Even though the giant had been shackled in chains, Jinwoo had still felt his overwhelming power. If I had freed him and allowed him to escape the gate, I'm just glad I saw through him before that happened. I must become stronger. Behind him, he had a vision of the monarch of beasts and the ruler army. News of the giant's defeat quickly spread across the world. All across the globe, media lit up with reports and celebratory fireworks. Social media blew up with posts speculating the emergence of a new national-level hunter. But this time, it wasn't just Koreans talking. The one giant that had traveled across the sea was defeated by Liu Jigang. In a stark contrast, Matsumoto, the disgraced chairman of the Japanese Hunters Association, was led away in handcuffs. Whether or not it was to take responsibility for his own actions was unclear. Meanwhile, in Maryland, the U.S. government held a grand party for the hunters who had completed their S-rank raid. The chandeliers sparkled overhead, and laughter filled the ballroom. Maybe it's because the gate was S-rank, one hunter said, but it looks like the government spent a pretty penny on this party. I know, right? Another chuckled. The raid wasn't even that hard. Suddenly, a booming voice interrupted them. There you are. A towering man with wild blonde hair and a Hawaiian shirt strode into view. Tomas Andre. You guys still remember our bet, right? The others exchanged nervous glances. You owe me a yacht. You owe me a house. And you, the bald hunter hesitated. I didn't bet anything. The blonde grinned wickedly. That's a nice-looking tie you got there. But I didn't. I want your tie. Later, strutting confidently with the tie awkwardly worn over his shirt, he asked a woman, how do you like my tie? She deadpanned. It looks expensive, but it doesn't go with your Hawaiian shirt. He laughed. That's what I thought. But never mind that, he said, growing serious. We have a problem. The list of guilds invited to this year's International Guild Conference was just released, and it includes the Ajin Guild from South Korea. He smirked under his sunglasses. Well, I guess he'll be coming to the States then. Back in the ruins, shadows erupted with violet flames. That was incredible, big brother, Jinwoo said. Jinwoo's, it's too bad one of them crossed the ocean, but I still managed to improve my strength through this battle. Soldiers nearby whispered in awe. Is that Sung Jinwoo's ability? Everyone is surprised when they see his powers for the first time, Jinwoo thought proudly. Sir, said a young woman, approaching Mr. Yu Jinwoo with a phone. Oh, if it's Jinwoo you're looking for. No, this is for you. Mr. Yu, she replied. He answered the call, smiling. Hello, Yu Jinwoo speaking. But as the caller spoke, his face grew serious. He turned to Jinwoo. Sorry, sir. I have to go back to Korea. Did something happen? Jinwoo asked. I don't know the details. I was just told to fly home because of a family emergency. Later, boarding a helicopter, Jinwoo's thoughts grew troubled. I've never heard mother's voice shake that badly. I wonder what happened. Flying under the night sky, the worry deepened. No, I shouldn't think too much into it. It might not be anything serious. At Incheon International Airport, a suited man greeted him. There's a car parked out front, Jinwoo. Please come with me. You must stay strong at times like this, the man added. I'll explain everything to you on our way there. Jinwoo's heart raced. Moments later, the truth was revealed. It's a long story, but Chairman Yu Myung-han has fallen into eternal slumber. Father, Jinwoo cried out, his voice echoing in the sterile hospital halls. A guard stopped him. You must not get too close. Hunters who can't control their mana will only worsen his condition. I see. They showed him a file. Something the chairman was working on before he lost consciousness. I've been holding on to it in case he wakes up, but I think you need it more than I do. Jinwoo flipped through the scrapbook. His eyes widened. It was filled with articles about his life, achievements, tournaments, clippings saved with care. Tears streamed down his face. It's not that the chairman didn't love you. He just had high expectations, because he loved you so much. Let's head home for now, the man said gently. Okay. But as they walked away, Jinwoo turned sharply. Something was off. Down the corridor, shadows flickered. Jinwoo stood silently behind the glass. What's with the waterworks, Jinwoo? He asked softly. You're breaking my heart. Then, quietly, he reached into his jacket and popped the top off a small glass vial. The scene shifted. A car arrived. We've arrived, miss. Thank you. The young woman stepped out, walking into the building. Her eyes caught a figure across the hall. Huh? That man is. The man turned to face her. He smiled. Jinhee. Dad, she cried out, bursting into tears. The room buzzed with disbelief. You're saying I woke up from eternal slumber? A patient who woke up from eternal slumber. It's simply unheard of. The media will have a field day once they find out about this. From outside, Jinwoo looked up at the building. After a quiet pause, he turned and walked away. The wind stirred leaves around him. He smiled slightly, eyes soft. It's a bit early, but happy birthday, Jinwoo. Chapter end here. For more, like and subscribe. Welcome to 217 Colic YT. The chapter begins. The night sky loomed heavy and still as Jinwoo stood in silence, peering up at the electric poles stretching over the city, the world momentarily calm around the shadow monarch. Well then, he muttered, I should head back to Japan to wrap things up. Oh, wait. A notification from his system appeared in the air before him, glowing faintly in the dim light. Skill, Shadow Exchange Level 2. Cooldown remaining, 1 hour, 54 minutes, 11 seconds. Jinwoo sighed. An hour and 54 minutes, huh? What should I do for the next 2 hours? He had time on his hands now, too much of it. With no looming battles or urgent calls, he felt oddly idle. Now that I have some free time, I'm not sure what to do with it. I don't even have someone to call. A soft memory flickered across his mind, Hunter Cha's voice. I think so, she had once said, her voice gentle and uncertain. He stood still, looking up at the towering glass buildings. Maybe I should try looking for a dungeon that hasn't been claimed yet. Somewhere far away, in a luxurious Western-style mansion bathed in moonlight, Christopher Reed stirred. His eyes opened slowly in the dark, catching the glow of the moonlight slipping through the windows. Christopher Reed rose from his lavish bed with unease crawling up his spine. It's quiet, he whispered as he walked the ornate halls. Too quiet. He reached for a glass of wine from a nearby table. The silence clung to everything, too perfect, too unnatural. He tossed the glass across the room, red liquid streaking across the floor. But he didn't hear the glass break. Not a sound. A wine glass broke, but I didn't hear anything, he said, disturbed. What's going on? His voice echoed into the stillness. Who's there? And then, an intruder appeared. Blonde, glowing faintly with malevolence, draped in a regal white coat, his eyes shimmering unnaturally. Christopher Reed, if you need help, call this number. A memory surfaced in Christopher Reed's mind. Chairman Go of the Korean Hunters Association will put you in touch. He narrowed his eyes. Did he foresee this? The intruder descended, spinning ominously through the air. A predator revealing its fangs. Who are you guys? Christopher demanded. The man smiled coldly. You will gain nothing from going easy on the humans. Oh, the fragment of brilliant light. Christopher stared, his face twisting in confusion. A beast language. What the hell are you talking about? But the invader was not speaking to him. Shoo. I wasn't talking to you, the blonde whispered. It was meant for the one up there who's connected to you. And with that, Christopher exploded into blazing fire. Flames engulfed his body, but his eyes burned even brighter. At least one of you will die at my hands today. His power surged, shadowy figures recoiled. Spiritual body manifestation? By a mere human. Christopher's fury boiled over. Die, you damn beasts. He lunged forward, smashing into the enemy with devastating force. The shockwave split the mansion. Debris flew. Walls shattered. The earth itself trembled beneath the fury of the Christopher Reed. But elsewhere, inside a calm black car, Jinwoo sat in silence as a system window popped up. Name, Sung Jinwoo, level 122. Class, Monarch of Shadows. Skills, stats, equipment, fully maxed. Crowds lined the streets as his car passed. Cheers erupted. All these people are here just to catch a glimpse of you, Mr. Sung, said the man beside him. We estimate over 100,000 people are lined up. Jinwoo gave the crowd one final look. I guess this is my last day in Japan. Beside him in the car, Baru appeared like a whisper in the shadow. My king, your subjects are here to pay their respects, the ant-like creature said earnestly. Perhaps you should raise your hand. You've got it all wrong, Baru, Jinwoo replied, amused. Time passed. On a plane now soaring over the ocean, Jinwoo sat quietly. What are the chances, he thought, of sitting next to a familiar face on a plane? The man beside him smiled. Are you going to argue that this is just a coincidence? It was Adam White. Jinwoo gave him a knowing look. So we meet again, Mr. Adam White, he said. It's an honor to see you again, Mr. Sung, Adam replied. Actually, Baru was the one who told me your name. Baru's voice echoed in Jinwoo's mind. My king. That's Adam White. You mustn't get his name wrong this time. Jinwoo smirked. I thought the negotiations fell through. Adam leaned in. I know it's rude to show up without prior notice, but I have an urgent matter to discuss. Trouble with your S-rank gate? No, that's already been dealt with. He opened a laptop. Please, take a look at this. On screen, fire, chaos, desperate firefighters. This is no ordinary fire. Even a single spark could burn you alive. What is this? Jinwoo asked. If you watch until the end, Adam said grimly, you'll see the man who started it. Christopher Reed, one of the national-level hunters. 1,800 firefighters and 14 of our best mage-type hunters couldn't stop it, Adam added. Jinwoo's gaze sharpened. Does that mean Christopher is? Adam nodded. He'd already been killed when we found him. He produced a photo and held it out. This man, he said carefully, is who the Federal Bureau of Hunters believes is the prime suspect. Jinwoo's eyes widened. It was a photo of his father. Adam began trembling. Jinwoo's aura spiked. Jinwoo lifted him telekinetically with one hand. The room darkened with violet energy. If this is some kind of joke, Jinwoo growled, you won't make it out of here alive. Adam shouted, don't. Stand back. His bodyguards flinched. The man in the photo emerged from a dungeon. He gasped. The mana waves were like a magic beasts. He attacked an S-rank hunter without warning. Cracks appeared on his neck. Jinwoo narrowed his eyes. Are you saying that was my father's doing? He tapped his finger gently on the tray. Adam caught his breath. He disappeared after knocking out our hunters. And since then, it's like he vanished into thin air. He added, there's a reason he's the prime suspect. He ticks all the boxes. Jinwoo asked coldly, then why show me this photo? Adam answered, because at the upcoming International Guild Conference, where all the major guilds gather, he hesitated, then confessed. The Federal Bureau is planning to issue a red notice for him. Jinwoo's eyes glowed like twin suns, locked on Adam in deadly silence. In other words, Adam concluded, our investigation will no longer be behind closed doors. The United States government, having lost a national-level hunter in the recent incident, is determined. They will do whatever it takes to find the one responsible. The investigator lays out a photo with calm gravity. We at the Federal Bureau would like to maintain a good relationship with you, Mr. Sung. His brow shines with sweat, the pressure behind his words unmistakable. That's why I came to give you a heads up before the investigation goes public. I'm sure you would have been shocked if your father's face had popped up during the conference. Jinwoo remained silent, but within his mind, thoughts began to twist into a storm. My father, who went missing 10 years ago, returned as a magic beast? The idea weighs heavily on him. A guard leans in. Are you all right, sir? I'm fine, the agent mutters, wiping his forehead. Just feel a little weak. His colleague whispers, did he use telekinesis? They're both stunned. Only high-ranking mage-type hunters can move objects at best, but the pressure they felt from Jinwoo was something else. It wasn't just strong. It was overwhelming. I thought only national-level hunters could wield such powerful telekinesis. No, the man realizes. This man is the 6th national-level hunter. He turns urgently. I must inform the deputy director as soon as possible. Elsewhere, the International Guild Conference looms. An event where representatives from top guilds across the globe gather to shape the future of the hunter world. A few days later, the official list is announced. From the United States, Scavenger Guild, led by Thomas Andre. Mexico, Sicario Guild, with Alone. South Korea, the Ajin Guild, with Sung Jinwoo. Italy, Ira Et Vitae Guild, with Fabio. It's a bold statement. Sung Jinwoo, as sole top-ranking hunter of Ajin Guild, has been recognized at the highest level. Their participation dominates headlines across nations. And the Federal Bureau's invitation is seen as a symbolic seal of approval, not for the guild, but for Jinwoo himself. At a press conference, cameras flash as reporters direct their questions toward the guild master of the Hunters Guild, Mr. Choi. Everyone is talking about Ajin Guild being chosen over yours this year. What are your thoughts? Choi answers without hesitation. The Federal Bureau of Hunters made the obvious choice. A murmur spreads. They made the obvious choice? Not understandable. Yes, Choi confirms with a calm smile. I believe it was the obvious choice. But isn't Ajin basically a one-person guild? Another reporter presses. He smirks. Yes, but in this case, that one person is Sung Jinwoo. His voice grows steady with praise. If we define a guild member as someone who can be mobilized for battle, then Sung Jinwoo already has hundreds of members. Memories of Jinwoo commanding an army rise in his mind. As someone who witnessed his strength firsthand, especially during the Jeju Island incident, I believe the Ajin Guild could rival any guild in the world. He adds with sincerity, still, the Hunters Guild has always represented Korea. It's got to sting a bit. Of course, I'm disappointed our trip to the States fell through. I even had my passport renewed. But I feel more proud than disappointed. Choi confesses with a smile, my guild and I only made it back alive because of Sung Jinwoo's help. I'm genuinely proud he was chosen. Later, as Choi walks through the office, a subordinate runs up to him. Sir, we got the permit for the gate in Sisio this morning. It's an A rank, but the mana levels are low. Nice work, Choi replies. Did a Jin apply? No, sir. They've been quiet lately. It's been 4 days since Sung Jinwoo returned from Japan, Choi reflects. But the dungeon destroyer hasn't appeared at any gates. The other guilds are celebrating his silence, but Choi remains cautious. Jumping for joy just because an apple fell from a tree makes us no different from monkeys, he mutters. One of his men chimes in. But without a Jin competing, our profits are up 40%. Choi side-eyes him. I found another monkey. Sorry. Never mind. What does the association know? They exchange intel. Before his reevaluation, Jinwoo used to clear 3 to 4 low-rank gates daily. After becoming S-rank, he raided gates across districts. Then, single-handedly, he shut down the S-rank break in Japan. Someone from China requested information on him. A staffer adds. What kind of information? Just public documents, raid records, articles. I see. I doubt they expected personal data, the director muses. But why the sudden interest? It wasn't from the Chinese government. It was from an individual. An individual? Yes. China's 7-star hunter, Lu Jigang. Shock flickers across the director's face. Lu Jigang. China doesn't follow the international hunter ranking. Their highest classification is 5 stars, except for one man. Lu Jigang, the sole 7-star hunter. Yes, sir. He fought one of the giant beasts. Perhaps he's curious about the man who killed the rest. I suppose the strong recognize the strong. Deny his request, the director decides. Or send him only surface-level data. That night, a logo glows across a city tower, the emblem of the Scavenger Guild. In one of its high floors, Laura informs a massive figure in a floral shirt. Sung Jinwoo will arrive tomorrow. Already, Thomas Andre says, stretching. Time flew by. Sir, you called for me? A man enters. Perfect timing. Thomas smiles darkly. There's something I need to tell you. He walks forward, his steps thundering. Don't mess with Sung Jinwoo. Mr. Huang, the man responds quietly. Thomas continues, I know what happened between Sung Jinwoo and your brother. You want to know the truth, but a surge of energy explodes from Thomas, slamming the man with invisible pressure. He raises one glowing finger. I don't recall giving you permission to speak. The man's face is taut with fear. Laura whispers from across the room, please, just keep your mouth shut. Not many people can threaten a high-ranking hunter, she thinks. He really is impressive. But Huang Dongsuk's brother is obsessive. She speaks aloud, her voice calm but firm. I repeat, do not mess with Sung Jinwoo. Thomas relaxes and grabs the man by the shoulder. Go take a vacation at the guild's villa during the conference. What do you say? Will you comply with my request? Mr. Huang. All right. Good. You may leave now. As Huang walks away in silence, Laura watches him go. Do you think he'll listen? Thomas shakes his head. No. He's not going to let go that easily. Thomas instructs, keep an eye on Mr. Huang until Sung Jinwoo leaves the States. Will he accept that? Well, I'm sure he'd rather be frustrated than dead. The camera closes in on Huang's glowing, furious eyes. A calm sky stretches overhead as a row of national flags flutters in the wind. China, the United States, Mexico, and others. Beneath them, a fleet of luxury vehicles rolls up to a towering glass skyscraper. U.S. reporters swarm the lobby, their cameras flashing nonstop. The crowd parts as 2 imposing figures walk in side by side, drawing immediate attention. One of them, clad in a distinguished coat and exuding aristocratic confidence, glances at the chaos with a smirk. Why are there so many reporters here? Asks one man. They're waiting for the South Korean hunter everyone's been talking about, replies the other. The screen introduces him. Representative of Germany, Richter Guild, Leonard Neerman. Spotting a familiar silhouette entering the hall, Leonard's companion smirks. Ah, speak of the devil. There he is. They observe from a distance as Sung Jinwoo steps in, flanked by Wu Jinshul and his bodyguards. Leonard's eyes narrow. How about we go introduce ourselves, he suggests. There's no harm in getting acquainted with a powerful hunter. But as he steps closer, Leonard stops cold. His face twitches. You don't see that? The man beside him is confused. See what? A chilling thought flashes through Leonard's mind. He doesn't summon shadows from another dimension. He brings them along with him. From his perspective, ominous glowing eyes drift all around Jinwoo, an invisible army waiting in silence. He could wage war against the United States with an army of that size. Jinwoo, sensing eyes on him, turns slightly. No, it's just some foreigner was staring at me, he remarks coolly. Yo Jinho chuckles. Well, you've been all over the news. You've probably got fans now. Then he turns and asks curiously, by the way, why are you here, Mr. Wu? Jinshul clears his throat awkwardly. I'm here as Mr. Sung's bodyguard. The Yo Jinho blinks. A bodyguard? For who? Just then, an agent approaches them. We've been waiting for you, Mr. Sung. Jinwoo nods as the man introduces himself. I thought you were in charge of the Asia branch, Mr. White. Yes, I was, the man replies with a smile. Now I'm also in charge of communication with you. White continues. The rest of your party will be escorted to the hotel first. Mr. Wu, Jinho, please go with them. Yes, sir, they respond in unison. White looks back at Jinwoo. As for you, Mr. Sung, could you please come with us? Jinwoo's sharp gaze narrows slightly. Is this about my father? White gives a practiced, diplomatic smile. I assure you, you won't lose anything from this. I've already made the Federal Bureau's opinion of you quite clear. They move through secured corridors. Is it a confidential matter? Jinwoo asks. White replies, some of it is top secret. A black car zips through city streets. Where are we headed? Jinwoo asks again. To the Federal Bureau's headquarters, says White. Inside the vehicle, White leans back. To be honest, we're in a state of emergency. A huge part of America's strength depended on Christopher Reed. Now that he's gone, we desperately need reinforcements. Jinwoo listens quietly. White continues, his death hasn't been made public yet. But soon, we'll need someone strong enough to fill that void. Jinwoo speaks. Am I one of your candidates? White nods. He taps a remote. A display lights up showing images of a shattered battlefield and a massive dragon corpse. As you know, the value of a rune stone depends on the strength of the beast it came from. The screen flashes, revealing the image of a giant red dragon. The most catastrophic raid in human history, White explains. The dragon. Kamish. He continues. We're looking for the rightful owner of the rune stone extracted from that dragon. White gestures. So what do you think of our new offer? Jinwoo's eyes lock onto the screen. That photo. Go back. White is confused. Pardon. Jinwoo's voice sharpens. I want to see the previous photo. Jinwoo's eyes glint. Has the U.S. been preserving Kamish's corpse? White stammers. Yes, but where is it being kept? Jinwoo cuts in. Let's go there first. I'm sorry. Jinwoo leans forward. I took the time to come here. I don't think that's too much to ask. White sighs. I don't know where it's kept. That info is restricted. But I'm sure they'll make an exception if they know it's you making the request. Let me go brief them. Jinwoo shrugs. Well, if I have to wait, I might as well just go with you. White stiffens. Back at headquarters, an agent reports. So Mr. Sung is here right now? Yes, sir. But he barely mentioned the rune stone. Then all he wants is to see the corpse, huh? Mutters the director. He sends others out of the room and begins a private discussion. Why do you think he wants to see Kamish's corpse? The assistant shrugs. I don't know, but he's not here for sightseeing. They speculate about the immense power and value of rune stones. Then it hits them. Wait, what if he could create soldiers from beasts defeated long ago? A cold sweat breaks. Oh my God. Down the hallway, Jinwoo sits alone, calm and silent. Yet his presence pulses with pressure. He's planning to turn Kamish into one of his summoned beasts, they whisper. If that's true, says one panicked, we have to stop him at all costs. But, the director reasons, if we turn him down, we'll lose the chance to build a good relationship. He exhales deeply. All right. The director makes a decision. I'll take him there myself. Elevator doors slide open, descending to the bottom floors. As they walk, Jinwoo, I still can't believe they built their HQ over the place Kamish was defeated. They pass through a steel hallway lined with security. Jinwoo breathes in. I can feel mana in the air. The door opens into a massive chamber. And there it is, the enormous skeletal remains of Kamish, sealed in ice and mist. A behemoth frozen in time. This thing killed hundreds of elite hunters, the director says. We've kept its corpse in place ever since. All of the electricity in this building comes from Kamish's essence stone. Jinwoo steps forward silently. Are you satisfied, Mr. Sung? Please stand back, Jinwoo says quietly. He raises a hand, shadows swirling. Let's see, arise. A wave of dark energy explodes across the chamber, but fizzles. You have failed to extract a shadow. You have 2 chances remaining. Jinwoo's eyes narrow. His breath hitches. He gathers energy again. Arise. Another shadow surge. The bones tremble. Darkness howls. Shadow flares spiral violently. Then, a massive shape begins to form. And with an earth-shattering roar, the shadow of the great dragon Kamish awakens. Bursts of ice erupt from the monster's breath as frigid winds rip across the facility, turning solid walls into brittle shards. The cameras crack, the metal groans, and then, a sharp breath. A flash of jagged teeth. The creature narrows its blazing eyes, locking onto the man who summoned it. Are you the one who summoned me? The beast rumbles. It towers over Jinwoo, monstrous and regal, a silhouette carved in darkness and embers. Jinwoo stares up at the creature calmly, unflinching. The king of the dead, monarch of shadows. Behind the reinforced glass, agents panic. What the hell is that? Jaws drop. Fear chokes the room. Humans, the beast murmurs. Its claws twitch. It growls low, voice heavy with ancient hate. I must kill humans. Its rage becomes physical. A colossal fist crashes into the glass. Crack. The tempered glass, bolstered with a top-ranking hunter's mana, fractures, then shatters into millions of pieces as the beast bursts through with a deafening shatter. An inferno of breath scorches the chamber. Kamish's power surges freely. You must leave at once, sir. Someone shouts. That's Kamish's breath. There's no running from it. But the chaos halts when a single voice cuts through it like steel. Enough. Jinwoo steps forward, calm, commanding. The flames part. The essence stone embedded in your skill was removed a long time ago. Kamish halts. You don't have to obey the rulers anymore. The storm fades. The great beast's eyes narrow. A flicker of awareness returns. Outside the shattered field, agents stare, dumbfounded. Is Sung Jinwoo speaking in the beast language right now? I'm not sure what I'm looking at either. Kamish lowers his gaze, his body still flickering with raw power. So this is what it feels like to be subjected to the monarch of shadows. The dragon's demeanor shifts. He is no longer a tyrant. He is a servant, a relic of war long past. Images flash. The cracked essence stone. The massive claw sinking into the earth. I was but a lowly servant who once served the Dragon King, the beast says, bowing its massive head. But I now bow to you, the new monarch. Jinwoo's voice is steady. You used to serve the Dragon King? Yes, my liege. I was once a servant of the king of berserk dragons, the monarch of destruction. Jinwoo narrows his gaze. I sense a fiery rage. I had no idea a shadow soldier could possess such a strong ego. This one is on a far superior level than the beasts I've encountered so far. Silence. And then, the beast wags its tail. Is it wagging its tail? An agent whispers. There's no doubt. Jinwoo's thoughts turn inward. The monarch of destruction. Another of the 9 monarchs, Kamish lowers his massive head once more. Unfortunately. I must bid you farewell, my liege. What? I'm afraid our meeting happened. Too late. Kamish's form begins to dissolve. Jinwoo calls out, alarmed. Wait. The powers of the Shadow Monarch aren't enough to overcome a time span of 8 years? System. But the answer has already come. Kamish's form fades into dust. I envy the soldiers who can serve you for all of eternity, Kamish says, voice fading. There are 4 humans who have borrowed the power of the rulers. Please beware of them. And then nothing. The system message appears cold and final. Kamish's shadow returns to the world of nothingness. Too much time has passed since the time of the target's death. It will be pointless to extract its shadow again. Jinwoo lowers his hand. Mr. White, he says calmly, let the director know I'm sorry, and that I'll do my best to cover the repair cost of this facility. All right. He walks through the fractured corridor. Lights flicker. Walls groan. The agents part in silence. Fists clenched, eyes blazing, Jinwoo steps into the world outside. A skyscraper looms overhead. The city moves on. Back at the bureau, why didn't you answer my calls, Mr. Sung? I went somewhere with no reception. Then did you meet with Mr. Eugene Ho? Jinwoo frowns. What? He left after receiving a call from you. You said you were waiting at the bureau. What are you talking about? I just got back from there. Another agent chimes in. Mr. Yu's name wasn't in the visitor log. A hunter from the Scavenger Guild picked him up 2 hours ago. That can't be right. It's true the Bureau and the Scavenger Guild cooperate, but they don't have the authority to act on our behalf. I'll ask them directly. Jinwoo's eyes darken. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Across the line, the Scavenger Guild answers. So you're saying we went to pick up the Vice Guild Master? A woman gasps. Wait, don't tell me. Does Mr. Sung know about this? No, he hasn't been notified. The people who were with Mr. Yu inquired about his whereabouts while Mr. Sung was at the Bureau. Mr. Sung. The Scavenger Guild says they'll get back to us as soon as possible. The call drops. Jinwoo's body vanishes in a blur of speed. This is my fault. I didn't assign a soldier to guard Jinho after saving Chairman Yu. If another mishap were to happen, memories flash, blood, battle, his sister crying, Jinwoo clenches his jaw. Come forth. A shadow erupts. Find him. Tendrils of darkness surge across the city. Miles away, in a darkened room, someone stirs. A red light flickers across the floor. Footsteps echo. So he's gone and done it. A man growls. He clenches his fist. Huang Dong-su. Find him, before Sung Jinwoo does. Use any means necessary. Another voice rasps from the shadows. We must find him first. Dark clouds loomed overhead, blanketing the city in a tense stillness. The skyline was silent, yet something stirred, a presence watching from above. On the rooftop of a high-rise, Jinwoo stood alone, cloaked in shadow and violet aura, his glowing eyes scanning the streets below. His cape swayed in the wind as ominous energy gathered around him. Smith, he called out casually, yet there was steel from the void. His shadow soldier materialized. Our store doesn't accept returns due to change of mind. Why didn't you come to the party yesterday? But Jinwoo's mind wasn't focused on Banner. He was thinking, calculating. Did they leave the city? His gaze sharpened. But Jinho's a D-rank combat hunter. Not even a horde of civilians could take him down. He traced the situation in his mind. If the vehicle carrying Jinho had diverted from its intended route to the Bureau, Jinho would have noticed. He would have resisted. That meant only one thing. Whoever orchestrated this had the strength and means to overpower even a resisting hunter. The only clue left behind? The involvement of someone from the Scavenger Guild. A man in a black suit questioned. Then did you meet up with Mr. Yu? Yes. He left after getting a call from you. Jinwoo's expression turned grave. A hunter from the Scavenger Guild, huh? Could it be Huang Dong-suk's younger brother, Huang Dong-su? Was he waiting for us to set foot in the United States to find out the truth about his brother's death? A memory flashed in his mind, Dong-su's enraged face, screaming, You bastard. Don't you know who my younger brother is? How dare, only Jinho and Jinwoo had survived the dungeon where Dong-suk died. The timing, the motive, it all pointed to one person seeking revenge. I'm sure Huang Dong-su suspects us of murdering his brother. Jinwoo's thoughts turned to Mr. Wu's warning. It had come true after all. A flashback played in his mind. He had warned Jinwoo that Dong-su would make him a target. Now, deep regret clouded Mr. Wu's eyes. I don't regret what I did back then, but this wouldn't have happened if I had just assigned a soldier to guard Jinho. Tears streaked down his face. You're breaking my heart. It's not that the chairman didn't love you. He just had high expectations because he loved you so much. If something were to happen to him, the scene shifted. No news yet? Asked a golden-haired man sitting at a grand desk. No, sir, his subordinate replied. Does he not value his life? The man mused darkly. No. Mr. Huang is an S-rank hunter. He must know the difference in power between him and Sung Jinwoo. The fact that he still did something so reckless means he knows I'm going to step in. A flash of anger crossed Thomas Andre's face. Have I been too kind to my hunters? He picked up the phone. How are things looking, Laura? Laura, seated in a car, responded, using records from the Bureau. I analyzed all of Mr. Huang's movements for the past month and found 3 instances of him deviating from his usual area of activity to an unplanned location. Send all of our guys to that place. I'll head over there as well, he ordered. Understood, sir. A moment passed, then Thomas Andre asked, By the way, how did you manage to convince those old geezers at the Bureau to cooperate? Meanwhile, in the Scavenger Guild's control center, alarms were sounding. I told them there might be a clash between you and Sung Jinwoo if we don't find Huang Dong-su right away. All members of the Scavenger Guild are on the move. All 100 of them? Yes, sir. They even canceled their scheduled raid just now. All of their hunters are headed somewhere. A chill settled over the air. If the entire Scavenger Guild was deployed, that means Thomas Andre is the one giving orders. This is no trifling matter. What the hell is going on? Elsewhere, in a grim warehouse, Jinho sat bloodied and bound. Dongsu loomed over him with glowing red eyes. Are you sure this is okay? One thug asked. I'm not going to do anything bad to him. There's just one thing I need to know, Dongsu snarled. He leaned in close. The guild master warned me not to mess with Sung Jinwoo, but I was never going to start something with him. After all, there's one other person who can answer my question. Blood dripped from Jinho's wounds. I said I'd let him go if he told me the truth about what happened to my brother in the dungeon that day. Dongsu's eyes narrowed. There's only one answer I want to hear. Sung Jinwoo killed your brother. Jinho stayed silent. Hey, wake up, one thug barked, slapping him across the face. Wake up. He was beaten again. I guess he's a tank all right. Any average person would have died already, one of them commented. I applaud his bravery, but being stubborn won't get him out of this. A fist smashed into the wall near Jinho's face. Listen up. I don't plan on killing you. See the guy grinning next to me? He's a skilled healer. He'll heal you up every time you're on the brink of death. In other words, you're gonna have to suffer in pain forever. The room was an abandoned factory, a place forgotten by the world. No one will come to your rescue, Dongsu said coldly. So how about it? Feel like talking yet? Jinho's lips trembled, then curled. Piss off. Dongsu's fury exploded. Slam. Easy now, Mr. Huang, one of the thugs warned. I don't want to get swept up in a murder just to make a few bucks. I'll be more careful. Jinho dangled from chains. Why don't we call it a day? I think you've tried your best. But Dongsu's grin turned sinister. What are you talking about? I'm just getting started. Suddenly, the ground shook. Huh? Dongsu turned. A monstrous figure stood silhouetted in the broken entrance. What's that? An orc? Did a dungeon break occur nearby? The hulking orc's body trembled. That orc's intimidated by you, Mr. Huang, one thug said. Dongsu sneered. I don't have time for games. As he lunged, the orc's body flashed. Exchange. The orc vanished. Back at home, Jina lay on the couch, watching TV. I wonder how Jinwoo's doing, their mother said gently. Beside them, Baru stirred. Oh, Queen Mother. No one will be able to survive an accident that puts His Majesty in grave danger, the news anchor spoke. Next up, the conference hosted by the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Look, Jina. Your brother's on TV. Really? My king. Baru whispered. Deep in the void, Baru murmured. This feeling. I felt something similar once before. The king is furious. Elsewhere, raiding teams prepared for battle. There have been a lot of accidents in the dungeons lately. Let's stay sharp and make sure nobody gets hurt. Yes, sir. But suddenly, boss. I saw your shadow move just now. What did I tell you about drinking before a raid? Yunte. I didn't drink. I swear, your shadow was trembling, like it was alive. Take the day off. I'm being serious, boss. Meanwhile, black SUVs surged down the highway. Thomas Andre barked, stop the car. I'm sorry. I said, stop the car. Damn it, has it already begun? He leapt from the moving vehicle and rocketed through the night sky. I'm gonna get going first. Follow me to the location. Yes, sir. Car swerved, chaos erupting as he landed like a missile on the road. We're going to be flooded with damage claims again. Yeah. I wish he would have just taken the car. Back in the factory, Dongsu's punch was intercepted. Blood gushed from his mouth. He staggered back in shock. A trail of devastation followed. Boom. And then, Jinwoo appeared, cloaked in violet energy, eyes burning with fury, shadow energy swirling like a storm. Chapter end here. For more, like and subscribe.